Hi, and welcome to IB Research. IB Research is essentially designed so that students preparing for the IB can actually go through the research process. The important part with regards to the process is that it's experiential, so they get to experience what research is, they get to understand the difference between academic writing and just like essay writing, for example, or creative writing. They also get to experience the process of research and create a framework around it. I think the intuitive thing with regards to the course is that it is guided by the students' learning style, the way they go about processing and gathering information, and we assist students in a systematic way the research process in itself. An example of the research, for example, is looking at the Big Six, which is the research model that we follow. We look at the task, we look at the strategies of seeking information, location, access, the use of information, synthesis, and evaluation. Now, even before we get to this, students, for example, did the multi-intelligence test to find out their learning style and their gathering style. We also looked, for example, in terms of when they choose a question, which field does it fit in? So the process by which research takes place, it is important that we form a foundation that the student understand themselves, the skills, their knowledge base, and where to develop and what fits with them also. So it's not a one size fits all, but the framework does give a coherent fashion in the methodology of research, and that is the important part. So how they go about doing it is in many ways the way they adapt to their learning style. At the same time, this model in itself really and clearly defines how research would happen, for example. So, so part of the research process is basically a journey, and we kind of like created something in which they can process what's happening and to see how they can approach it. So the material, the style, why do they write an essay, what type of essay do you want, is very important with regards to that. So the title and the process of organizing the ideas. So we looked at study guides, planning times. These are important things that we often think that we have mastered, but even as adults we know we struggle, and especially with the IB program and the intensity by which it happens, I think it's important in terms of them physically being able to go through that process. So, the planning, a lot of time is spent on it, and I think it's very, very important because planning only is basically successfully implemented if we practice and we practice and we practice. And this was very, very important that we stress that, when you're doing, for example, your extended essay, that timing and the consistency by which you're going to approach your essay is very, very important. It is not where you're going to walk with a specific product in terms of they're going to walk out with an essay. That's certainly not the plan, because research is a lot more diverse and a lot bigger than that also, than just the extended essay. But they can use this in which they can actually process, or they can experience what it will mean to do the extended essay. In itself, the program looks at, for example, organizations, looks, for example, to various things by which can assist them and help them in their research process. It is about experiencing it, and I think that's the important part about it. Another thing with regards to especially research, one of the big things is trying to keep focus, trying to know that with all the information you can still focus on your question. And so we do things like thought maps. We do how does technology, for example, enhance your research process. Part of the course, for example, is that they would look at how to get a thought map together and how that will keep them focused with regards to their studies, with regards to focus on what's happening, how to approach an essay, making sure that they understand the guidelines, the paper. It's a step-by-step, though in many ways the step-by-step doesn't always happen in a linear fashion. So we try to adapt it so that students can draw the maximum experience with regards to the process. We touch on other things also, for example, on what is academic writing, why there is academic writing, what's the difference between academic writing and other writings. We look at plagiarism, so students really get a clear understanding with regards to why we're doing it, what they're doing it for, and what the end result is with regards to this process. I mean, we have used a variety of templates by which we actually kind of allow the student to look at how they will organize their ideas. They are on my blog site, there are various tools that they can use and they're exposed to, and actually use class time in which I allow them to actually use the tools, see what works for them, try to understand and try to identify those systems that in which they can operate effectively when it comes to the research process.